Sir NCD, our launch team is ready to proceed at this time.
Oh, hey, ladies and gentlemen, all of my beautiful non-binary people, children of all ages that should not be listening to every episode of this podcast, but still sneak out to do it. Welcome back to another episode of JMC, The Journeyman Chronicles. My name is Felix C. Arroyo. I am the host. I am the Journeyman. Before we get into that with our interview with Terian Mack, I would like to ask you one important question. How are you? How are you doing? How are you maintaining and sustaining? Are you thriving and driving? Are you fucking just making it to the end of the week the best way you can and you don't know how? You know, are you just putting enough gas in your car to get to where you got to go? That's okay too. Listen, take it easy on yourself. Give yourself some grace. You made it. That's all that matters. And we're starting off this week phenomenally well. So when I ask you in the beginning of these episodes, how was your week? I'm genuinely asking. I'm genuinely concerned. You should be concerned for your fellow person, your fellow human being. Why not, right? We could use a little bit more of that in this world, in this life. Doing this particular intro in my family room again. I didn't like the way I did it last time on the couch. A few episodes back. Wasn't really feeling it. But, you know, you try different things. You don't know until you try it. But, I'm liking this. I got the different lights, cascading off of one another in the background right now. And that's how you learn. Folks, I'm doing this all on my own, in case you ever wonder. And I'm not bragging. I'm just saying that it can be done. It's not easy. I'm not bragging at all. It's not easy. But I do feel transparency is the best key. I'm learning how to do lighting on YouTube. You look up cameras, you get something in your budget. You do what you can. If you love what you're doing, you're going to find a way. And so, everything that I'm doing, from the reels, the social media presence, the interviews, the audio editing, the video editing, it's all me. It's all me, and I do it every week. I'm a busy guy, but I love what I'm doing. But if you want to support me, if you want to be a sponsor of this podcast, if you want to just invest in what you feel is a good podcast, if you want to invest in me, believe in me. Listen, reach out to me and become a sponsor. Reach out to me on my website, jmcpod.com. Become a sponsor of the podcast. Because like I said before, this train ain't slowing down. Season 2 is coming to an end here. And then I take a little summer break with my family. And then I get right back into it for season 3 come fall. So I got a lot of plans, I got a lot of goals, I got a lot of dreams, and I'm always looking for sponsors for this podcast. Let's get right into this episode, because I'm excited, and I know I'm in a subdued manner right now, but I'm low-key hungry. I'm trying to stay focused. God damn it, brother, I got to eat, okay? It's late. But nonetheless, listen, this episode 63, listen, I got to speak with Terian Mack. First of all, you got to know who Terian is. Don't tell me you don't, because his music is everywhere. He's from Lank, but he's doing big things with big people. He's rubbing elbows with people in the music industry that know some people in certain camps, okay? And our conversation starts off with Grammys, because Terian Mack and his crew got into the Grammys. That story is watching him, recall the story, recount what happened, seeing the excitement on Terian's face, a genuine, solid guy. You can tell that he's not in this for fame or the glitz or the glamour. He's a very spiritual cat. He likes things. He likes to get deep with things. He's not a surface person, which is pretty cool, because that's what we do here at the JMC podcast. We talk about things that are deep. We get deep. I'm not interested in superficial surface material. He reached out to me. Shout out to Ariana Chanel. She suggested this podcast to him, and he reached out to me. And so here we are. Now, listen, one of the things that I appreciate about Terian, like I said, was his authenticity, but he keeps this genuinely real the entire time. You can tell that he doesn't want to come off like he's name dropping or that he is bragging. And I had to reassure him that this is a safe place to talk about yourself. And that made me think, like, it's okay to fucking celebrate your wins. And I hope that, the cancel culture, if you want to call it that it hasn't gotten so far that people are scared to celebrate their wins or they're concerned of what it may look like. At the end of the day, when you grind, when you work hard, when you're doing what you got to do to get to where you want to go, and you want to celebrate your win, that's not boasting, that's not bragging. That's celebrating your win. Just leave it at that. You can do that. You're allowed to enjoy yourself, to enjoy the fruits of your labor, however it may be. And so I really wanted Terian to know that. And I wanted Terian to know that, and also future guests that come to this podcast. Listen, if you're doing big things, if you don't think what you're doing is that important, if you're doing private small things and you're a quiet person, you're still allowed to celebrate that, because you're contributing to your family one way or another. You're contributing to society one way or another. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, fuck that narrative, knock that shit off. We're better than that. And I'm grateful that Terian got comfortable celebrating his win. He did that while sitting on this couch behind me. We chopped it up. And so nonetheless, here we are. Here I am. Here you are. Let's get right into it. This is episode 63. This is Terian's journey, and these are the Journeyman Chronicles. Let's go. Let's get back into what I was originally starting with, because this is how I want to start the conversation. So I'm going through the newspaper. I see your picture. I was already sort of hip to like who you were, just because of the other friends that we have, mutual friends that we have on social media. And so I was like, whoa, this is pretty cool. Let's talk about the journal that you wrote while going to the Grammys. This is the Grammys from last year of 2022, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. How did this come about, this whole experience?
Man, it's a lot, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this up front. Like, no, I tend to like rant or like just, it goes places.
That's what this is, brother.
Cool.
Do your thing.
Cool. So first off, I guess it would be shout out Quinnell Holder.
Yeah.
He was like basically like managing and like just kind of directing me in a business sense for like right around when COVID hit.
Okay.
But we were tapped in with each other, like following each other on socials and stuff for a little while, but like never like engaged or talked with each other, right?
Okay.
And he basically was like just he did a lot. Like he jumped so many different positions in the industry that like he learned so fast that he ended just making like his own creative agency. It was literally called Medium Creative Agency.
Okay.
So he was just like really just dropping gems on me. Ended up really just helping me network. Like he was connecting me with people, like important people that like I respected and wanted to do.
Yeah.
So like up front, like right away, I kind of just was like, yeah, like I need to keep listening to everything he's saying.
Yeah.
So like before all that, like I didn't have an LLC, none of that. This was all like his advice, like do all this, da 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 da. So I do the LLC, and in the meantime, I'm still just like making music. Since COVID hit, like I started getting like real creative with like how I marketed and executed my ideas. So like I made private mixtapes where it was like you had to cash at me or pay me for the link, and then you get a link to a private. Yeah. So I started doing stuff like that. I just started like trying to get really crafty and then putting everything through the LLC. You know what I mean? And now I'm self-employed, but like besides that, so Quinnell was really just helping me a lot. He's an advisor, but now he just got promoted. I forget what the actual title is, but was an advisor in the Recording Academy.
Okay.
So he was already kind of like, up in rank within that, but then now he's up there. But he, so he would get tickets for Grammys because it's, held by the Recording Academy.
Sure.
literally like hit me maybe like I don't know, maybe like 2-3 weeks before and was like, yo, I might have a ticket. I'm not sure yet. So it was just like I kind of like,
so the idea was already in your head.
Yeah, it was there, but like I didn't want to like fully like rely on that. So I was still trying to like find other ways since that the opportunity was there. And like at that same time, I was working with Malik Youssef, who's really like a mentor of Kanye. Like he's credited in almost every single Kanye song.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like they had a really like brotherly relationship, still do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was kind of like put me under his wing, in the same way, not so much as business, but more creative, because like he kind of seen like we work similar.
Okay.
I think that's what like made the relationship kick off. And at that time, they were working on Donda, and Donda got nominated for 2 Grammys. So I was still kind of like just plugging around, like how could I, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was cool because everybody that I was hitting was like, they all were like, oh, I might be able to, you know what I mean? Or, you know, just come out regardless. We're gonna see whatever. So then, and it was crazy. Like I said, it was maybe like 2-3 weeks before Q hit me, but then he hit me and was like, yeah, hey, got a ticket. And I actually threw my phone. I was like, yo,
Yeah.
this is crazy. Yeah. And I was like, this is crazy. I'm like jumping around and stuff. And then, yeah, so that's how it happened. And then went out. Wednesday's another local artist. Are you familiar with Wednesday?
Yes, I'm familiar with him. I never met him.
All right, cool. Well, he was going. This is totally separate. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's 2 artists going. So then we ended up just staying.
Oh, he's going to. Okay, so he was, and y'all didn't know that you.
Like we worked together, but not in the sense of to like that where it was like we were yo, we da 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 da. It was like, oh, because he was part of the recording academy, so it was like, oh shit, like you're going too. My fault.
That's cool.
I don't know.
No, I curse.
My fault. Yeah.
Usually it's the other way around. I forget to let someone know that I curse. So.
All right, bet. So now we know. We just
do your thing, brother.
Cool. All right, so yeah, it just happened that we were both going, and we know each other, right? So then we just, I say we because shout out Josh, you know Jazz White by any chance?
No,
so he
I
works
don't.
for the city. He's just like really seriously just like an all around like influence on me, like and it's a brother of mine though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like he's like the good conscious on me all the time, you know what I mean? And we traveled a lot together, done a lot together. He's came with me to Malik Youssef sessions and like different places. So he's like, when I had the chance to go to the Grammys, I was like, yo, let's just make this happen, bro. Like if anything, like we'll just sneak you in or something. You know what I mean? Like we gonna, and it worked, bro. We have bro. We have footage, and that's something I could talk about. So like June 30th, I'm gonna be at Zootropolis doing. I have an album. See, this is what I mean. My phone going.
Nah,
June 30th,
brother,
I have an album. It came out last year on Independence Day called Independence Day. Malik Youssef helped me a lot on that. So like shout out Malik Youssef heavy. Like he just I'm not even gonna like get too much into the details of all that because that's a whole different conversation. But like he helped me a lot in executing and manifesting that album. But nah, so the anniversary for the album we're gonna celebrate this year, June 30th at Zootropolis. And that's what I want to do is play some of the footage from us sneaking him into the Grammys. You know what I mean? Because it was so just like unreal.
But when you're sneaking somebody, like the idea was, we're gonna try to sneak you in. But were you ever like, we can really pull this off, or was it like we're gonna try, but I'm not? I mean, it's the fucking Grammys.
That's exactly it. It was like the whole time was like, oh no, the whole time, man. Until we're in there, we're even in there like head on swivel, like yo, I don't know, like. And then once we realized like, nah, we're here. He was like. It was networking just crazy, like.
Oh, I bet.
And Josh, he's a videographer, photographer, everything visual, right? So like, and you know, like I said, we were kind of like working within Kanye's camp and stuff. So like Cootie, are you familiar with Cootie and Chike? They are the ones that did the Kanye documentary on Netflix.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. So we like were with them and stuff, and for him, like I know that was even bigger than it was to me because it's the same like lane or whatever. But yeah, like that was really just crazy. But outside of that, I was just like networked with everybody, talked to everybody. I don't even want to take the time to like name drop because it's like so many people.
But I appreciate it, and just watching you recount it, it's like you're excited. Even
I'm reliving it.
Yeah,
I see it again. It's like, yo, we really, because sometimes, like I said, I'm like moving all the time. I've don't.
But
even get to,
but
like,
for an artist, and I don't want to speak for you, but I would think, being an artist from a small town, and always being, when you watch the Grammys, it's like, yo, one day, but having the opportunity, when you found out you're going, was it like, yo, is this for real? Like, are y'all fucking with me? Because it's not like you went to some award show in central Pennsylvania. You went to the Grammys. So were you on board from the very beginning, or were you like, they're pulling my leg?
Nah, yeah, because it was like family, like people you know what I mean? Like, it was like,
that's cool, man.
yeah, it felt like destined. That's kind of, I think.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I forget what the LNP article, how they put it, or quoted me saying something or whatever, but like something about like I'm supposed to be, like it felt like that.
That's exactly what it said.
Yeah, it felt so lined up.
I'm supposed to be here, something along those lines.
It felt so lined up, bro. Like there was no like
you meeting people.
Friction.
Like, you said networking. Were you rubbing elbows with anybody? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, is there nothing you can talk about?
Oh, yeah. I just didn't. I
don't feel like you're name dropping.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not. I don't want to be that guy. It's like,
but here's the thing, and I'm glad you're doing this, because this is a genuine like reaction I'm getting from you, and I appreciate it. But like, dog, like, the Journeyman Chronicles is, we're sharing your journey right now.
Right.
Like, a lot of people are genuinely interested in something that they're never going to experience. So you sneak it in, your boy. You're in the Grammys. You feel like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Right. This is the pinnacle. Like, this is it. Who were you seeing? Walk by.
Right. So I'm gonna play. I'm gonna go kind of from the top. Getting in, like going through all the security, heavy security.
Yeah, I was about to say, what's that like? Like,
yeah, heavy security. They go through your bags. They mad scanners, like different phases and levels of it. And like, okay, so me and Josh had a homie in Florida make us these
were they like a vest or something?
Vests, yeah. So and the vests were like spiritual to us. Like I'm gonna say just like openly, like I'm not into religion. Like I'm not into an organized sense of like ritual, I guess.
Got you.
But I do like history, so like I understand, you know, I don't want to get too deep into all that, but like I am into like understanding that like the King James version of the Bible, you know, was edited 100 some years after Columbus had already came here, though. That's the point, is what I was trying to make, is like it wasn't like this was ancient. Like this was a couple hundred years after Columbus had already came here, and that's wild to me.
Yeah.
So like I'm proud to say I'm exploring my own history of everything that I was ever taught. You know what I mean? That's why I'm growing, I feel like. So I'm not totally into religion, but I'm super into my relationship with God. Like, and I use God just as a universal term. So I like every religion. I study every religion. I started telling people, you know what? I believe in every religion.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. So it was, I don't even know what I was just saying, bro.
You were in there. I was asking you, who were you seeing? And you said, let me start from the top.
Oh, the vest. So the vest. Yeah, the vests were like spiritual to me, because they had my first album was called Babylon the Great.
Okay. I
don't know if you're familiar at all with that, but if not, I'm definitely.
I was going through your discography.
Okay, so without jumping around too much, that album took me like a couple years to make. I'd say from 2000. I'm gonna say from 2015, 16 up until 2000, till I put it out 2019 or something, right? Okay. And it was really just stuff like I was making before I really even knew I was all the way like serious about it.
Sure.
But like I knew I wanted it, but like I was still finding my creative sense. Made this album, ended up with Mass Appeal. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
It's Nas's label.
Yeah.
I ended up there because a studio I was working at and a producer I was working with was also producing and A&Ring at Mass Appeal.
Gotcha.
So he invited me to there, and I ended up meeting with Jungle, who's Nas's brother.
Okay.
So it was just crazy. Like again, so I was like, oh, like they seen something. I had way bigger visions and big aspirations than what they like could really knew what to do with.
Okay.
So there was no way we could like legally or contractually turn anything into something, which is actually probably better for me, you know, because now that I know things that I know. So like that was kind of like a heartbreak, a letdown, or whatever. So I just kind of like trusted in the process for like a couple years after that, which was hard. Like it's easy to say that, but like, you know, like working cause I worked full-time jobs for like 8 to 10 years because my son's about to be 10. That's kind of how I gauge it.
Gotcha.
I literally, like I said, I didn't make the LLC till like when COVID started. So I was working full-time jobs for the last 8 to 10 years. And like, I literally, I don't know. I literally didn't think it would even get to this point. You know what I mean? Like I wanted it so bad, but I didn't think so. And like, that's why I say that. Cause just for anybody else is like, trust the process. It's easy to say, but like do that.
There's a lot of people that are going through the, is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? And then they get kind of lost in that shuffle.
Life.
And years go by. You've got, not you, but I'm talking about you in general. Like you got people that are like, maybe you should hang it up. Maybe, you know, so it's like no one really realizes how close they are when they're starting to doubt. And so I'm assuming for you, the consistency and the like you said, the vision that you had, the mass appeal, the people at Mass Appeal couldn't match it, for lack of better words. You were still seeing what you were seeing. Yeah. And so that put you in a position now where I'm assuming that we're circling back to the Grammys. Is that what's going through your mind? Like, what?
So that's what I was getting at was the best. Like, so Babylon, like in like the Bible and everything, like the revelation point of things, like whether that's real or not, the idea of like preparing for an end to me was like kind of deep and profound and cool. Like, so I ran with that theme for that first album. That's what I was getting at. And the vests were kind of a part of that. You know what I mean? And they were handmade by a friend of ours. Shout out Fortunato, Jazz White, like I said, my brother. So then we both wore these vests, and that's I give them credit for like getting us in there, like spiritual credit for like that was destined. Like they were guiding us through that, and that's how it felt. So like with us having all black matching vests, a lot of times through security. Not even a lot, like, but I would just like it looked like we were supposed to be there, and then there was only one point where I had like it was kind of like getting rough for him, and I was like, I kept going, and then I noticed, and I was like, nah. So I walked back. I'm like, I remember being like, yo, you supposed to be? What are you doing? Like, stop messing around. Like, come on. And then the people were like, I'm like, yeah, like, what are you doing? And I had the badge to prove I was there, you know. So they just were like,
why are you holding them up?
Yeah, I'm like, come on, like, you see who we with? Like, no. So then we go in, and it was just like. It just felt so spiritual and spooky, like, and I people that know me know that that's like how like everything. I'm really like a deep thinker. Like everything's more profound to me than it is to the surface people or whatever surface level. But yeah, so like to me, it was just I felt that the whole time. And what was really crazy was like, you know how I don't know if you remember, but like Kanye was actually like banned from the Grammys or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
bro. I anybody that was there can vouch. They on every commercial break they played Kanye's music.
Ain't that something?
It was weird.
Wow,
it was so weird. Like his classics. So it was like everybody's in there having a great time. But it's like it was so weird. But it was cool. Like just to be there and see like all that. But so I guess that's it. Yeah. So then we get in, and then you were asking me like people I met. Do you know who Ant Clemens is?
Yes. Yeah. The name.
He's from. Like around this area, I want to say like Jersey though, maybe. Okay. But he like is a songwriter in Kanye's camp, and it's just like also his own thing too, and with other stars. Okay. Like if you look, like I'll send you some after this or something. But he's like, I love inspiring to me. You know,
got you.
And he's like from around here, so talking with him was great. Like we exchanged numbers, we talk or whatever.
Wonderful.
We text.
Yeah.
And there was just so many parties that weekend. You know what I mean? So I met other people. So I'm trying to think of like everybody.
I mean, it's safe to say you met people, though.
Yeah, and to me, like how I work, I have a list of like goals and visions that's certain people I know will help me get there. So like that's what's fun. Like I was just thinking like, wow, I'm name dropping people that nobody knows, but it's because it was important to me.
That's what's dope. So, that's how we know it's genuine,
right? So like other people though, do you know Jimmy Allen?
No.
It's like a black country dude.
Okay.
He was like he was the host of I think it was the pre-ceremony.
Okay.
But yeah, like talked with him and stuff, and like kind of just exchanged info on like some, let me send some stuff and all that.
Yeah. How are you approaching? I mean, these are people that are,
so that's the
they
secret
don't have
sauce,
to explain
man.
themselves.
Yeah, that's the secret sauce. Like and I guess like I'll share that because that's what it's about. But like really, you just can't be the cliche everyday. Like you're in the Grammys, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
or anywhere outside of there, but you can't be hungry or thirsty. You know what I mean?
You have to genuinely, I'm assuming, you have to let it be seen that you believe you're supposed to be where you are,
right,
but not too much.
Right.
You don't want to come off like some conceited
Arrogant.
asshole. You want to be cool, but you're not. You don't want to be shy.
right. Yeah.
I'm assuming, and I don't.
I think it's
I
more
doubt
the
you were
feeling.
shy.
Yeah,
I'm sure you were
And
mad comfortable.
I mean, it's a little stuffy. You know what I mean, like it was a little stuffy. I got there though. I mean, I had a couple drinks, whatever. Like we're chilling.
Stuff you're like what? Like it was just.
I mean, the Grammys is everybody's suit and ties.
Yeah,
I had
okay.
a black polo turtleneck, the vest. I think I had like polo dress pants and like Yeezys on.
Yeah.
It was super like down, but like still.
But you still, you're still chilling.
Yeah. So, but no. So it was just like comfortable in a sense of like letting myself feel like, yo, we're supposed to be here.
Yes.
But okay. So like Jimmy Allen, he's like a superstar, really.
Gotcha.
But talking with him was really cool. It's like really crazy. I don't know.
No, it's all good, man.
Yeah,
it's all good. But the reason why I asked is because it's not everybody can say I've had this experience.
Yeah, of course. That's why I'm like, I'm really
Grammys.
thinking like, because I keep wanting to just name people that I was really excited to see instead of like, who are people going to know?
You said there were a lot of parties. Do you remember how many?
Yeah. Nah, definitely not. But like for people that know who like Key Glock is, we got invited to his album party. It's just like, this is like a label thing. So like you had to get like an invite or whatever.
Gotcha.
So we got that. Malik Youssef had a mansion party. Party wise, yeah, there was just so much going on. Like even like more in the like pre, during the day type stuff. Like there was a pre-ceremony for the Grammys and brunches and stuff.
And the Grammys were held where? Was this in LA?
This was the first. It's always in LA. This was the only year it was in Vegas.
Okay, so you were in Vegas. Have you ever been on the West Coast to that degree?
Yo, so it's crazy you asked me that. A lot of people don't know this. I actually stayed with an aunt of mine. She was my grandma's sister.
Okay.
In Reno, Nevada, when I was like 11, 12-ish.
Okay.
So that was like really a wake up call. And I think I was out there when I was younger too, but like that was really a wake up call for me. In a sense of like Lancaster is like its own culture. Like straight up, I can't stand the people that hate on Lancaster. I really can't.
Yeah.
Because it's like you sound like uncultured. You sound like you haven't been anywhere.
Yeah. Or you're just following. You're just
gem.
following the stereotypical
small town
responses of
Yeah.
That we've heard for. I'm 44 and I grew up in Lang. I live here now, but I grew up in Lang. That's all I ever heard.
Right.
So it's like the stereotypical, oh, you're from, do you see Amish? It's like,
Yeah,
there's a
that's
lot more in Lancaster than just that.
Straight up.
You born and raised here?
Yeah. Like Manheim, Manheim?
Yeah.
So I was actually in Manheim Central.
Okay.
Like if you I'm pretty sure if you would look at like my bio, like right now, it says something about like in a small town where there was KKK rallies. Like I remember being young and I was raised by my grandma who raised me is white.
Okay.
So like I remember hearing stories of like, oh, like they used to like really let just rally down the street, and that's how they would try and recruit people and
in
stuff
Manheim.
like that. Yeah.
Wow.
And like from my mom would tell me too. So like, and my family's young. Like my grandma's 60, like 4 or something.
Yeah.
And my mom's like 40, not quite 50, but up there something.
Okay.
Like 40 something.
Okay.
Maybe like 48 or something. I don't know. 49.
We're going to say 47, 46, just because that's your mom, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So respect, yeah. So it wasn't like a long time ago. So like I've just always had this vision, and like being in Manheim, like I got kicked out of public school in like 7th grade. So being in Manheim and like going through racial tension that was like, and I say that I word it like that because when you're young, you almost don't realize that's what it is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But then I'm like, oh man, like it was definitely like
You start connecting the dots.
Yeah, for sure. So that like just I don't know was in me to like I viewed things totally different than a lot of people. Like I always kind of felt like I seen things bird's eye or like out of the box or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, I ended up like going to McCaskey for like freshman year, 10th grade, drop out like 10th grade.
You mentioned that you mentioned your grandmother and your mother and the experience that you had in Mannheim. When it comes to music, and I asked this, I've interviewed, and I'm blessed to have interviewed different type of creatives.
Right.
And one of the common themes that I kind of get from all creatives as I'm interviewing them. You want some more wine?
I'll definitely take one.
Let's take a break. Yeah. Yeah, so what I was saying was that I've been blessed to have these interviews with creatives, and one of the common themes is their life experiences and how it influences the work that they're doing. And so the music that you're making or the approach to the music, you mentioned a couple things that stood out to me. How the spiritual comment you made, how things are the profound impact that things have in your life. You don't come off as somebody that just doesn't really you don't take things for granted, and that things that happen to you, I feel like they mean something to you. It's not like it is what it is. Like there's a reason why things happen. You're privy to that. You're hip to that. You honor that shit. So the experiences of, you mentioned the KK rally, or the stories that you hear, getting kicked out of the school. Like, is that influencing you? Is that motive? Is that the fire that's brewing, that's creating the work that you're doing, or is that just a byproduct? Yeah,
1000%. Like, it's funny because I talk with my friends. Like, shout out Sir Dominique Jordan. That's like that's like my brother for real. Like his uncle was best friends with my dad, stuff like that. And it's funny because we went to school together, but like never talked to each other or nothing. Like never messed with each other.
Got you.
Yeah, really crazy. And like on another spiritual thing, I don't know how much, I don't know, but like my best friend, his name was John, who I named my son after.
Okay.
He died when we were 16, and him and Dom have the same birthday. And then like I didn't meet Dom till after like all.
Got you.
This super just feels like really.
So that clicked once you found that out. You were like, "There's a reason."
I just started like it just feels weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you though.
Yeah. So I was saying like, because me and Dom were talking, he's like, "Yo, therapy is like okay," you know what I mean? And like,
yeah,
I 1000% can say like I don't know if I've totally healed from like childhood like traumas
sure.
and just life experiences and things like. So, and I think it definitely is like I feel like maybe now I am like getting like through that the mode of that like of like who I was or whatever. So I think like it was definitely relaying and everything that led up to now, and like now it's like I'm more working in like a purpose. It's like the work I'm doing is like coming from realizing that like
and the involvement with the community. I don't try to do too much research because I want the conversation to be organic. I like learning things as we're talking.
Yeah, 1000%.
But I do a little bit just to kind of get like an idea of who I'm talking with, and it's the community involvement. It's not like you're just making music, uploading it, check it out, and you keep it pushing and you're doing your own thing. There's a desire to be involved with the community one way or another with you. You mentioned Sir Dominique Jordan. Yeah. I interviewed him. Okay. It was Zoom. We're gonna reschedule an in-person interview because that's one of my goals is to get him in. But yeah,
I actually told him to come with me. He's hosting Grill's Garden at Concrete Rose. And he said it's done at 9, so maybe like after. I don't know.
I don't know.
If it's too long. Or not.
If he stops, I don't have another.
It's cool.
See, we're gonna have to schedule that because I would like to have another mic set up, and I have it. I just don't have it with me here.
No worries.
But nonetheless, my point was, real cool cat, and just meeting him through Zoom and talking with him, chopping it up. It was like, if you're surrounding yourself with people who have a vision like that of Sir Dominique Jordan, the friends that you're keeping, the company that you're keeping, the tribe that comes up often on the podcast is people surrounding themselves with like-minded individuals or people that are doing bigger things. Was that one of your goals?
Yeah.
You mentioned your mentor, Malik Youssef. He said that, or no, forgive me, not Cornell. What's his name?
All of them though are mentors.
All of them,
like,
yeah.
That was a goal. I was like, I need to start finding people that are gonna. And like, it's just crazy how it all started happening. Like, I was working a full time. Are you familiar with Lidditz at all?
Yeah.
So do you know what Woodstream is?
No.
All right, it was like a factory where like they're making like,
I work in Lidditz. Ain't that some shit? You think I
yeah,
would know
bro.
that?
It's not. You're not missing nothing. It's a factory that's like, bro. They make like rat traps and like rodent traps
right.
and like. I'm sure you already know the vibe.
Yeah.
So I was working there. This is like 2015, and like this was like my first mentor though, for especially in the music industry. Was this dude Ari, and he really just like showed me like he really like this is in New York. He was like taking me around New York everywhere. Like he really looked out. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
The relationship just kind of like fell off in like ugly business ways. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And,
that's unfortunate.
It is, yeah. But like that was a learning thing too.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, he taught me a lot, and that was my first mentor. And ever since, like I knew that was the wave, was like connecting yourself with somebody who's either in the lane doing what you want, or I don't know, people that you could learn from.
Yeah,
not just like necessarily take from, but like you're learning and showing them that like, yo, I appreciate what you're teaching me, and then you're doing everything they tell you.
Yeah,
I think that's what I learned with having mentors, was like follow through with everything that the game they're giving you, so that they know you're like appreciative of everything they're telling you.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I started doing that, and it just worked with every mentor I had. So like, yeah, Malik Youssef's just like one of many. Quinnell's one of many.
Yeah. And that goes back to your comment you made earlier when you said you were trusting the process. Right. That's one thing that a lot of people have a difficult job doing, is having a mentor, but then like being patient,
right? Trusting
the process, letting things fall through. When did music come into your life? So let's talk about when you started. Yeah, bring that closer, brother. You want me to fix that for you?
No, it's cool. Because I make music and whatever, I'm watching the screen nonstop, and like I keep noticing like that mine's a little. All right, yeah.
I'll blow it up. I'll do my thing. Don't. I appreciate that, because it's all good. If anything, I'm appreciating that you're looking at it, because I feel like if you see something that's wrong, you'd let me know. I don't got to keep turning my neck. No, but it's all good. Yeah, we're there.
Oh, cool.
But let's talk about the music that you're making. Right. But when it started, were you young making music? You said 2015.
I started like way before that, and it's funny that we're here. We could talk about that, because I feel like a lot of people really don't know. That about me. Like even maybe some of my friends probably don't, because a lot of friends I have now are like not friends. I have one friend, really, maybe a couple
from the gate, that
like knew me since I was young, that are like around still, and like in a supportive, like helpful way. Like I don't like, just because we know each other doesn't make us like friends. Like to me, it's like it's got to be family. It's got to be like
acquaintances.
If you're a friend, you're a family. Like I don't have like just like,
you don't got room for the in between.
I don't, bro. I even made a song called Judas, and like that's I can't have the in betweens.
Was that stemming off of a bad experience, the Judas track?
I mean, I've had plenty of bad. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we all have, right?
No? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like, bro, I've had so many. But how the music started really was like, so I was writing. I don't know if I'd even have called them poems or raps, but I was writing, and I knew I was rhyming, and I liked it.
Okay.
And I was doing that maybe like, I'm gonna say like late elementary, middle school.
Okay.
We're going to this church in Mannheim. I think it was like Brother in Christ. I'm not gonna lie, like we were like the asshole kids that was like disrespectful, showed up for the food, played ball.
Yeah.
Didn't even listen through the service.
Yeah.
And then we're out, and like I actually need to stop by there and like, I don't know, because they
make amends.
Yeah, because like once I tell you this, you're gonna be like, dang, like
all kids do that shit.
Yeah,
though, bro.
I know, but like it was, I don't know.
But you know what?
I knew better, I think. And
but you recognize
like, that's why it's like now I'm mad at myself.
Yeah,
it's like I knew better.
But you recognize it. That's growth, dog. That's
straight up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing but growth. But yeah, so what turns out, one of the leaders there, he was like, oh, so people were saying like you're writing raps or whatever, right? And he asked me to like do some or show some. So like I did it, and he loved it. And then actually like low key, like didn't do it in front of everybody, but low key gave me, because at my house like we didn't have a computer and all that. You know what I mean? Like we had maybe like some old, like I don't know, but I definitely wasn't that kid that grew up with like having laptops and like all that.
Yeah.
So he gave me a computer, a microphone, a mic stand.
Wow.
Yeah, and like I know that they didn't know where that was going to take, like, you know, like it was more on some like, hey, we have this sitting around, like, and I think they knew I was just kind of like misguided, so like they really, I don't think they understand what it did, but
that opened the world for you.
Oh yeah, because like that, so you're like, you said you're from here too, like,
yeah,
did you know Young Easy?
No,
he was like a really talented artist from here that ended up passing away due to gun violence and all that. And like
I do recall that. I was outside a club or something.
It wasn't. It's like some kind of like open mic or something in Colombia.
Fair enough. My bad. Yeah,
it's all good. Yeah, us in like Colombia or something.
Yeah,
over like an argument or whatever. But
yeah, rest in peace. Yeah, I do recall that story. Yeah.
So I was hanging out around a lot. Like his crew really like, and it was because one of my good friends at that age, his name was Mike. His stepdad was actually like, had like a little studio, right? So I took the equipment there and was like trying to learn what I could, skipping school to hang out there, record whatever. End up going with like other guys that through them know to like record, and just something like was sparked ever since. And like I said, so this is like early. Now this might be like late by now, like it's like late middle school, early high school.
Okay. Where we at here at year wise?
Probably like 20, not even 20. It's probably 2009.
Okay, 09.
10.
Okay.
Maybe even a little before that, because I didn't start recording on my own, like, because I had an altercation with one of them, and I just kind of like always kind of like stand up for myself. Like I'm not, if I'm not gonna always just go with something. So like when something speaks to me, I move.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those kind of things where like,
you've been like that since day one.
Yeah, and like I realized that now, like that was like more in my favor. And like
absolutely.
It was, yeah, and it was like just something simple as like, well, you heard that? I'm bucking. Yeah.
You good?
Yeah. I thought I heard like, yo, that's crazy. Like I don't know like the age of your kids or nothing, but it sounded like a little girl or something. That was.
Oh well, I mean, you might have heard them from upstairs.
Okay, my fault. All right,
it's all good. It's all good. I was hoping the headphones would cancel that out.
No, it's cool. So I had like I got kids too. It's cool, so I get it. I had just like a little altercation in the sense of like they wanted to like start doing something maybe under a contract or more serious, and I was just like, nah, like I need my space and time to like just play.
Yeah,
I wasn't an adult, and I wasn't trying to like be too serious then. Like I knew I wanted it again, but like I really don't know if I got serious until like 2020.
Okay.
But yeah, so I after that was just recording in my grandma's basement for like this is like 2010 for sure. Like I still have some of the files and all that.
Okay.
It was like 2010, 2011, and around 2011, my grandma actually helped me get a computer and a microphone. And that was literally like you really. Because by 2011, like I said, my best friend John, like that was like my brother. Like we like from like holidays to vacations, you know what I mean? Like we was together every single day. Our apartment buildings were next to each other. Like everything, like before school, during school, after school. Like that was my brother, man. Like it was. I look back and like I'm blessed to have had a childhood where I had such good friends, and like I was that kid that didn't really have like discipline or too much structure really at all. Like my grandma, because it was just me and my grandma. I had little sisters too, but like she worked all the time, like really, and then came home, tired from factory jobs or whatever.
Sure.
So I was like really just running around doing whatever, and like I really had good friends and good times, and was just outside living life.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think about that a lot. So, or he passed in 2011.
Okay. What did he pass from? Do you mind?
A car accident.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so after 2011, I stopped going to school. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I was supposed to graduate in 2012. I stopped going to school. I really wasn't outside like that. Like I was really just in my grandma's basement. And it wasn't like nice. Like this was like a cement floor, cement.
A basement.
Basement.
Yeah.
Cobwebs, all that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I'm just nobody. That's where I was at. Just playing, self-teaching. Like even off this, like I can show you some stuff because I still have some of it saved on YouTube as like private, just to like.
Yeah.
When I don't know. Sometimes I'll go listen to it, but
you reminisce a lot when you reflect.
I don't a lot, but like when I do, it's powerful for me.
Yeah.
So I has to start recording crazy stuff though. Like I was really like, it was rap, but it was still like really different and left of everything that like was going on. So yeah, from like 2011 was like me recording myself and like just playing. Like it was really just playing for a lot of it. Like I think that's why like to people who really know me, that to them it seems like it took so long. Yeah. But like I kind of knew it would be like this because a lot of people didn't like my music. Like they just, I don't know how to explain it. Like it wasn't like I've been doing this for a long time and was building a whole bunch of fans this whole time. It was like I was just playing for so long and people weren't really like catching on or like understanding, and I knew that, and it was kind of okay with me.
Yeah. You said playing, you said people weren't liking your shit. You said 2011, but
like I actually had like haters, like from family to like freaking my mom's like friends to freaking.
Were they clowning the work you were doing? Or?
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, but I definitely had supporters too. I definitely had the people. Like I just ran into somebody today. Like shout out Ed Rock. I don't even know if he's on here all like that, but I seen him today and he was like, yo, it's just crazy to see like how far you came, because like he knew me when I was like, when I was doing the early stuff, and he was somebody that supported, told me keep going. Like there's definitely, I held on to that.
Yeah,
like, I definitely was never one of them people. That's crazy. Yeah, I really wasn't one of them people that was like
holding on to the negative shit.
Yeah, I wasn't I really was just I always was in my own world.
But that's a blessing that a lot of people don't have. That ability to block that shit out.
Yeah,
I always found like that's like a gift, a very spiritual gift, if you want to. So people are blessed to have that ability to block out the noise,
right,
and just keep it pushing and grind and do them. There's a lot of people that fall to the haters, to the rumors, to the jokes and the laughing, especially when it's in your family. So the reason why I brought up the 2011, because you said it wasn't until 2019 until I started getting serious. So that's an 8-year difference. So I'm assuming, let's just say for 10 years, roughly, Terian Mack he's making music, but it wasn't really serious until 2019. What was it about 2019 that you said, okay, let's go?
Babylon the Great.
Okay.
That album. Because like I said, I got to a record. Like this was the first time I got to a record label. Like I literally walked through, like they showed me the offices, they take me to the studio. I actually ended up asking me to stay another day. You know what I mean? So this was my first experience of like, and like Babylon the Great, like I didn't make the whole album there. Like I made it leading up to this moment. You know what I mean? Like I was doing things. I was going to New York. I was getting out and doing things that I could, even with the little support that I had. So it was more about like that album meant something to me. I got somewhere that like I was like I respected and like low key dreamed of. Like I wasn't like that was on my vision board or that was it, but it was like, wow, like we're really here. And then not getting what I wanted, you know what I mean? Like that was when it was like, yeah, I mean, it was like, okay, like I'm gonna take this serious.
Okay.
That's why I say that was when I took it serious, because it was like, oh.
But that's dope. It was the not getting what you wanted that finally said,
yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
If I'm going to get this, I'm assuming it's like if I'm going to do this, then I need to do it. I need to go about it the way I need to go about it because I have a vision.
Yeah.
What was your vision? You said you had a vision of where you wanted to go. What were you seeing as an artist? What is it? What are you looking at? What are you planning?
Then
Yeah.
it was more about putting out something that had a message, like, because at that time, not that because I love like all the modern and everything, but at that time it was putting out something that had a message, and could have a storyline for like a career.
Okay.
More than just like a storyline for an album. It was like the whole career could lead up to something.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah, like I and like I'm not even gonna get into all that, but yeah, like a storyline
but
yeah.
Don't worry about that. No, because I like that because I bring this up every now and then. I don't hang my hat on it because I don't do it anymore. But I used to rap a little bit, and my thing with music is I love music. The concept of I don't want to just make hits. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're gonna have them, but like you said, the career, there's a concept that went along through your career. You were already thinking about that at the very beginning. Like, I want the shit that I'm making now, I want it to make sense when I listen back to it 15 years from now. Is that what you were talking about here?
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking cool, man.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It's crazy because what I view now as like that legacy isn't that, and it isn't even comparable because that was more egotistical and
Okay.
and creative for sure. Like now it's more purposeful and like I definitely like it's totally different. But
that's the growth part.
Yeah.
I think you had to go through that
Yeah.
to get to where you are now.
For sure.
You were putting thought into something.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why that album meant so much to me because I knew that was the beginning of like how I could play that storyline out, and they weren't really about it or seen like, not that they weren't about it because they liked the music. Even one of their artists collabed on the album, Esri. I don't know if you're familiar, but like,
No.
He's from Ohio, but like he's an actor as well. Like he's in, I want to say he's in Empire. I think he was like a rapper in Empire or something. I don't know, something like that. And just music wise, like is like pretty connected in the industry and things. But he ended up getting on a song, and it was like the best performing wise song of the on the album called Who Says. So it wasn't like they didn't mess with it. They rocked with it. They just literally couldn't support like the vision of like what I was trying to do. And then after that, like we kept in touch or whatever, and it just never led anywhere. I don't know. Like it felt like a heartbreaking. Like I know there's I know artists from other cities and like that like get to a label and then don't get what they want, so they kind of just throw that shit on the back burner.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like I was like, oh, it's not gonna be me. It's just more about like I got the validation I wanted.
Yeah.
I just didn't get the other thing I wanted, you know? So it was like, we're going to keep going. And like to see like now that it played out is like, I don't know. Whatever that was, like I appreciate that. Cause I feel like I almost can't take credit. Like I feel like it's gotta be God or some other like source of like, where, I don't know, you ever realize where like things just aren't like, I don't know, you get like either breadcrumbs or something that just keeps leading you to you're like, okay, I'll just hold on for another, I'll just hold on for another month. And then it's like, oh, wow. So it's like, that's literally my story. Like I just kept saying, you know what, if something doesn't happen by this time, I guess, okay. But then it just, something kept happening.
But the dope thing that I'm getting from you is even though it didn't work out, it still was another example of I was meant to be here.
Right.
Because how else are you going to come to the realization that you came to if you didn't experience that loss?
Sure.
And a lot of people on the flip side, they could compromise their work where I feel like you didn't. So they couldn't see the vision. I'm sure artists could very well compromise work, like, all right, well, I mean, if you ain't seen it, like how do you want to go about it? And then we go a different path. Terian Mack stays on course. When it comes to your name, is that your name or
that's
that
my government?
Yeah, that's a dope name.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I guess my mom, but I don't know. She made that shit
fair
up.
Enough,
bro.
but I mean,
she made that up, bro. She all the way made that up. There was no like, she had no influence or like some kind of like inspiration for it. Like she made that up. And then that's my dad's last name. So like, my dad's actually first generation here from Panama.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, his mom was born in Panama and everything. Met it would have been my granddad. He passed away, rest in peace. I think he was like in the service or something, maybe in Panama, right? And then brought her over here. Had my dad. He had a twin actually too. And then so that's how it came to be.
Gotcha.
But, Mack. I'm almost assuming it was probably like a slave name from my dad's granddad because he was from the U.S. But it's my government. And that was just inspired by like Bob Marley.
Yeah.
You Kanye West.
I was about to say, do you fall into that? I don't want to have a handle.
Yeah.
I want, this is me. The authenticity is.
Yeah. And it's because like in them early stages, like we were talking about, I used to try and find names.
Sure.
And I was like, what am I doing? Like nobody calls me that. And nobody called me out on that. Nobody was like, yo, nobody calls you Big.
I was about to say, do you have people like, why? What was some of the names?
I was going to say Big Mac was one. And like I was just going with BM, and I was like, nah, I'm not no BM. So then it was like I had let's see, there was, I don't know, like a lot of them played off of Mack, but like I was like, nah, we just gonna run with it. We just gonna say what it is. And then really a part of that inspiration was like I was taking CDs into school, so it was like people needed to know. Not some made up name. Like it just felt corny. So I was like, it's got to just be my name. And then
that's cool though.
Yeah. And people, that's what I mean. Like I had haters and I had people that were supportive and like kind of seen the potential or whatever. Probably more than I did at the time, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it comes to the work that you're doing, the music that you're making, and I'm thinking of everything we discussed. One of the I keep going back to like I genuinely get a positive vibe from you. The work that you're doing means something. You're putting out. You're not putting out content. You're putting out art. You're invested. You want people to invest in your music. When you said, I was making singles or mixtapes rather, one way or another, you were wanting the Cash App before they could listen to it. Mm-hmm. Like the savviness of the business and the art, does that come natural for you? Did you have to learn the business along with the art? Do you ever find yourself compromising one or the other? You know what I mean? Like a lot of artists, and I speak for myself as a creative, where I'm like, I love what I'm doing, but I know the goal is to monetize the podcast. But I'm not going to act like I know how to be a businessman. I'm not there. When it comes to being a musical artist, do you have to learn the business?
Yeah. Bruh.
I'm sure like you have to, because people are going to take you for everything you have.
It's like, I know like Kanye's just not viewed in a good image right now. And like, but like he's onto something in a sense of,
I got
if you're not handling your business, like who's handling that business for you? And like, can you trust them? That's it.
Yeah.
And when it comes to business and money, most times you can't trust people. Like
exactly.
That really, money ruins relationships and things. And I'm really blessed to have the people that I have. Like I'm literally, some of it I can't talk about, but like I'm literally in some of the most important meetings and like deals right now that I've ever been in, that like I'm trusting other people to do business for me, you know what I mean? And like I feel comfortable in it because it feels like family. It feels destined again, you know what I mean?
I think that's the goal though, is it not, to get to a point where you can trust?
Yeah, because
that's a lot, dog, to put faith into people, but if you've got it, that's a blessing.
Right, straight up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have to learn the business. And like for me, I was always creative. And I think that's what helped, was just like when you can do that, be creative and merge business mindsets together, it works. Like from like a guerrilla marketing standpoint of like, okay, you have a song, a single, an album or something, how are you going to put it out? Like you said, like just posting a song and saying, hey, check out my new single.
Yeah.
It's totally like
tagging 99 people.
It's like, what?
And I'm not knocking that. We've all done it, but I mean, like, you have to eventually then level up a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And like my example is like, what big brand do you know has ever done that? Has any brand ever like just tagged mad people and said like,
right,
we did this? Yeah. I mean, an email blast, but like, try that.
Yeah,
that's actually effective compared to like tagging somebody. Like, try an email blast then, but all that is like too much. Like, So just learning to be creative with your marketing, and like an example I can give that like I'm proud to say like just kind of came out of like me and friends talk. A lot of what happened for me in the last 2 years, from Grammys to like working with Kanye's camp to like stuff I'm doing now, came from like BS conversations, like almost joking, like yo, and that's what made me realize like yo, there's something here. And I think the more you pick up on it, the more powerful it gets. So like literally for Blazing, you know what Blazing Jays is?
I know of. I never met him.
So for Blazing Jays, like I did a collaboration meal with them where it was so it's called the T-Mac meal, and it was literally me and Dom are outside like literally eating a Jay's Way chicken sandwich. And I'm like, yo, I'm about to just mess around and tell them, let's do my own meal. And I you know what? And I'm gonna drop a song with the meal. You can only get the song if you get the meal. So then he's like, yo, not for nothing, you should probably go say something. And then Jabron, who's like the owner, comes walking out or whatever. Or no, he came walking in and we were leaving and he was coming in. And we've never talked before this. Like a lot of people have asked me that, like, oh, like how long? Like people assume like that this was like some kind of it's family now, but like it wasn't
at that moment. It was
it was cold. Like it was we had no conversation. There wasn't no formal email. There wasn't no. It was just like a raw idea that I sold well in a sense of like potential and innovative.
When you sold it to him, were you still on the bullshitting, or was it like a legit
no, I cut it. Like once he was like, yo, we were about to walk away, he's like, you should go say something. I'm like, why not? Like, let's go. So then I went and like I switched it from like, I had this bullshit idea, but like
now you're pushing
I'm like, all right, and like in like a matter of seconds. That's funny that you asked that, because like I never really thought of it like that. Like, so we go in, I'm just like, yo, I'm Terian Mack, like I'm this artist. He was like, yeah, we're familiar, like, or whatever. And I was like, yo, well, I really had this cool idea that could be a cross brand, collab that I could help people come into the store as well as help people find out more about me, right? And I just kind of like blurted it all out real fast while we were there. And I was like, so really my idea is to have this T-Mac meal where the meal comes with a t-shirt, and on the t-shirt is a barcode that goes to a private link of the song. So the only way you can hear the song is if you buy this meal. So we made a commercial about it, like did all that, and that was the whole point, was like, yo, if you want to hear this new T-Mac song that I'm making, and this was at the time where I was working with Malik Youssef and stuff, like just meeting him. And how that happened real quick, because I know
go for it.
Real quick was like, I had a session in LA. It was actually in Burbank, if you're familiar with Los Angeles. Like Burbank's like not really like LA. It's like over like the hills and stuff in a different part of the city. And I had a session out, and that's where like more studios and stuff are at, like even movie studios and all that. So I'm out there, I have a session. Me and him exchanged numbers through Clubhouse. Shout out Quinnell Holder for plugging me into Clubhouse like early, when it was only music executives, industry executives and stuff. You know what I mean? Like I was in there really early. Malik exchanged numbers on there. I followed up. He hit me back. And that's what happened. So I have a session out there. I hit him up while I'm out there, like hit him with the address. Had a couple other people who were also within like Ye's. Like, all right, so my homie Isaiah, he was a singer for Sunday Service. Are you familiar with Kanye Sunday? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he was
in there. Okay, gotcha.
And he came to my session. And really I just invited people I knew, just to, it didn't, like, it sounds like it was hyper focused around like Kanye and stuff, but it wasn't. It was just more about like
the vibe.
I liked what was happening at the time. So it was like that was cool to me. Yeah. So everybody actually ended up pulling up. You know what I mean? And and it was crazy, because then the engineer, shout out Chris at Tom, that's my guy. He's in LA. He knew my name, not me, but my name. And this is in LA, you know what I mean? He knew my name from somebody else that was a producer that I had collabed with, who was actually producing Kanye's Life of Pablo album. I don't know if you're familiar. Yep. But yeah, he was producing on there a lot. And me and him did like a lot of work together. So he knew my name from that. He's like, oh, you worked with Keon Christ. Yeah, anyway, shout out Keon Christ too. You know what I mean? Like, he's super innovative and like so far next level. It's like he's like, great people, like, it seems like they understand time. Like like he's gonna, when his name is known, it's gonna be like for a real huge reason. Even in like, I can say this right now because I think it's public news, but like he's working on like Rihanna's album. So is Malik Youssef. producing, like it's already like published, like it's a thing. So yeah, like they're whatever, it's gonna be huge. But he knew my name from somebody, so it was just crazy that everybody pulled up, and that's how me and Malik met. So then back to the Glaze and Jays thing.
T-Mac,
yeah. So one of the guys who his name's Johan Lennox. He does all the strings for like Travis Scott, Kanye West, all these guys. He did strings on my album.
Okay.
And it was for the song called "Wish Me Hell." And that was the song on the T-shirt. So the whole thing was like, yo, Malik Youssef's helping executive produce this album. If you want to hear this new single, you have to come buy the T-Mac meal. And we sold over 100 meals in less than a month at $20 a meal. So it was like a killing in a sense of my first time doing some creative marketing scheme.
Yeah.
And ever since then, like that's like, because you were asking me about like business, and like ever since then I realized like it's really like I could have dropped that song and said, even with the names, and not have gotten as good as a response, but like having the marketing scheme of a creative marketing scheme with a local brand, like that's what made it.
But it's stemming from a bullshit conversation, like, and I think the dope thing about that is if people were. And I'm guilty of this myself, where it's like if people could just get out of their own way when it comes to thinking business, like a lot of people have these bullshit conversations but don't do anything with them, because to them it's like, well, this isn't an actual. We were just bullshitting, but yo, you can actually make something happen. You just proved it. I mean, $20 a meal. And 100 within a month, so
over 100,
over 100, and not only that, but it created.
There's just 100 T-shirts.
It created a relationship with Blaze and Jays.
Oh yeah,
where now
they've helped me now into my career more.
That's what I'm saying. So now you have a relationship where future endeavors are possible. Now the ice is broken. You've already broken bread. This is a dope ass conversation, and I genuinely, I don't want you to feel like you're rambling or going off a different story. That this is exactly like, this is what I do. My thing with the podcast was one day is to have something where like we can talk for hours, but right now, in my little setup here, I can't do that. But to wrap up my episodes, one of the things that I like to do is I like to ask my guests, considering everything we talked about and everything that you've been doing, and you're a very humble man, but you are very well known, not only in Lank, but like you said, your name is across the nation. What's the goal for Terian Mack in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you, when it comes to the business that we talked about, your goals, your visions, the people you surround yourself with, where do you want to see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
Man, so I'm gonna say this, the camera, I don't know if it's like on me or like
it's on you.
Cool. So we just talked about BS conversation, right?
Yeah.
So bro, I'm like, we talk about this, I'm gonna say with the collective, like Dom and all the homies and everything, and I'm gonna say collectively owning a creative arts school in Lancaster. I started a label, so like I want to say,
word,
yeah, like a creative agency. It really stemmed from like the NFL licensing deals and stuff. It made me realize like the angle I could come at business in there, and like I made some great connects through those deals that like are willing to help me do more of that. So like I would say 5 to 10 years is like there's going to be artists from Lank that are well known because we plug them into commercials and with worldwide known brands. Like I'm sure I'll be one, but like the goal isn't me. Like 5 to 10 years, the goal is like I'm working with, like I just did a class at, I'm sorry, this is like a lot for a wrap up. I just did a class at through Millersville with the Ware Center for a music business class, and like through that, the connections of the like younger people I met through there, because I'm 29, the kids I'm meeting in there are like high school students to early 20s, right? I kept like that's my goal, is like these select ones are going to be the first ones, but like 5 to 10 years is going to be so many like coming out of here. So I would say seeing like the next generation of people are gonna like catapult through like the label that I'm creating. 5 to 10 years, I'm gonna say owning multiple properties, because I don't own any now. Like I rent, but I know the importance and like how important it is, and just legacy and things. So owning multiple properties like worldwide.
I think your answer though,
because there's so many. I'm not even
phenomenal.
gonna lie. There's so many. I'm like, damn, is it even worth saying that? Like, I want to say like,
But the dope thing about your answer was that it was music related, but and I'm getting this vibe from a lot of entrepreneurs or artists that are venturing into the business world, where it's like, how can I take what I'm good at and branch off into another direction? And so it was like, let's set up artists to make money and thrive in these other markets that aren't related to music, and which I never really thought about that. You brought up you're using the NFL as are you using that as like a template, or how they market, how they do their thing, or forgive me, I'm trying to understand.
Not necessarily marketing, but the business model of
business model. Okay.
Like how that worked out for me is literally what I'm teaching, so that we can find ways to make that happen more and more and more and faster and faster.
That's so dope, bro.
Yeah, and like it's happening. Like we're working on stuff now that's for some pretty big brands.
Yeah.
So it's
God
happening.
bless, bro. That's dope, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
I appreciate that. You said you have children real quick. Dude.
Yeah.
How's that?
So
how's that?
shout out John. So what's crazy is I've been doing this art class at Price Elementary.
Okay, yeah.
So the kids do PSSAs and they come hang out with me in the art room and like do
That's what's up.
some like we've been doing graffiti and stuff. But I took my son out of his school today to come with me to this school to do the art class.
Okay.
He's about to be 10.
Okay.
That's my son John. So shout out John. I'll show him stuff I do. So I'll show him this. Yeah, he actually, when I went to Mass Appeal, was Father's Day weekend. And I took him with me. I left that part out.
Yo, that's so
Yes,
cool.
that's what it was meant to happen. You know
Does
what I
he
mean?
remember? Does he remember that experience?
Yeah,
That's cool.
and the studio, one of the studios we were at when we were there is called Jungle City, and it's like Hove records there. Like literally the one session
Yeah.
I'm walking out, Kanye, Chance the Rapper, and Kim Kardashian are going into the same room, same session I was in. Like everybody who's in
Who's who? Yeah.
is there, and like I took my son there, and we're out on the balcony, and like they're telling me like, yeah, like Hov comes out here, he'll hit a joint like once and go back in. He doesn't really smoke or whatever, and it was just cool to like be like, he might not know the importance of that, but to me that's what it was. It was like, yo, I can say like I took my son to like some top tier, and he does remember that though. That's
cool.
Yeah, and like I said, that was like 2000, like 17, 18. So he was like 5 or 6 at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's about to be 10. That's my guy.
Balancing fatherhood and the work that you're doing. How's that?
Yeah. And I also have a 2-year-old. So like it's a lot. Like it's really, I'll openly say like, you know, like hope like you don't gotta edit this out, but like it's ruined my relationships.
I get
me like my capability to balance that has ruined my relationships. Like I have 2 kids to 2 different women, so it's like it's not like I had like one that like kind of like helped me build through. Like I literally, it has like how hard I go at what I'm doing and like the sacrifices and risks I take has ruined my relationships. So it is really hard, but it's.
You mean the relationships that you have with any potential suitor, or the relationships with the mother of your children? If you don't mind me asking?
Like how you said, like being a father, like it ruins that.
Okay, I got you.
Like I really don't. I mean, I don't know. Like I feel like there's almost every successful person can agree that like that balance is probably the hardest thing to do. Like there's no like easy way to do that, and I'm still learning. So like that part of things, like I can admit like that's kind of what happened. So like you asked me, like it's hard. Like that's been really hard.
No, but I appreciate that because a lot of people would sugarcoat that part.
No, I feel like now that I get it. Like we're here to talk about that. Is like people don't understand. Like for a lot of people, a lot of artists, a lot of just other entrepreneurs, whether it's here or other cities, like they have like solid families or a solid just partner that's like I'm literally doing this by myself. Like I'm paying the rent, and I've been self-employed the last like 2 years, so it's like it's every day I'm almost tripping off of it and processing the fact that like every day is art and music is like paying my bills, taking care of my kids. It's like I'd be such a fool if I wasn't thankful. And I say that in my album. I'm a fool if I ain't thankful. These are the days that I prayed for. Came a long way. Like, that's so real. Like, that's why I said it, because that's like, it's a lot. So yeah, I took so many like L's, it feels like, but like the legacy of it and the relationship with my kids, and the like, I wanted to say flexibility, but it's not that. It's like more, because it's not like I'm totally flexible, but like the freedom that I do get from this helps me be a better father in the long run. Like, yeah, I have to make risks and sacrifices, but this helps me be a better father.
That's exactly where I was going with, is that I don't get the vibe from you like you're just not understanding how this is. You know the score of the game that you're playing here, but the end result is I need to do this now so that when I'm here, it will all make sense to you.
Yeah.
And there's sacrifices that have to be made.
Yeah.
And like you said, you got to take your L's. But I commend you for saying that, because like I said, a lot of people, especially men, in our pride, will sugarcoat shit or try to make it seem like something it's not. And so, and the last thing that I ever want to do is like put anybody in a position where they're like, yo, tell me your business. It's not that. It's like, as a father, I understand, like, there's times where I have to, and you're right, because there are people that have that support, and I have that with my wife. But even then, there's times where it's like, I'm making decisions right now that I hope don't impact my family negatively. I just genuinely believe if we make the sacrifice right now, and if you just trust me on this, on the back end, we're going to be all right. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the game. Is like, a lot of people are scared to make that jump. That's the fear, or one of many different fears that people go through when it comes to pursuing their passion. So I commend you.
Thank you.
A positive affirmation from men is very rare, you know what I mean, especially from another man. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you being candid. This was a dope ass conversation. Yeah, like I said, we just met today, but I hope you say June 30th.
At Zootropolis, it's gonna be the Independence Day anniversary.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can make that, because I'm trying to stay connected with my guests one way or another, and I do try to make an effort. So, but I appreciate you coming through, man.
No, I appreciate you, man. This has been great.
Yeah. First podcast.
Wine's great. Yeah, I feel great. I'm feeling good.
All right, that's it, brother. Terian, my brother, thank you so much for stopping by, chopping it up with me. It was nice to finally meet you. I look forward to watching you progress, finding yourself even more, getting comfortable in the lane that you are in. This is your lane. You've earned it. And thank you again for sharing your journey, talking about things that most people don't get an opportunity to experience. I mean, the experience in the Grammys and the people that you're working with, and the things that you have on your plate and your goal, to be the kind of human that you want to be, the music that you want to make, that it means something to you. Keep doing that. Keep doing that, regardless of what kind of music you're making, as long as it's coming from a place of authenticity. This world is better for it. So I appreciate you, brother. I look forward to seeing you again. Let's stay in touch. For the rest of you, it has been an honor serving you an episode of JMC, but I gotta go. It's on to the next one, as they say. And your boy's got work to do. So until then, please remember to maintain focus and stay continuous through all 4 seasons. My name is Felix C. Arroyo, and these are the Journeyman Chronicles. Y'all be safe.